So today guys, we have taken with respect to the very common or very most widely used concept in Java. That is basically whenever we are writing some program, or whenever we are trying to write some of the code in automation by using Selenium WebDriver. So there also it is mostly used. So basically it is an if else in Java. Okay, it is basically an if else in Java is an conditional decision making. Okay, it will help us, it will help the program, it will help Java, it will help the JVM, it will help the programmer to decide something based on some condition, whether some set of steps that need to be executed whenever there is a condition is success, then what steps we need to follow, and if there is a condition failure, what steps that need to be followed. So that decision we will be making with the help of if else. Okay, so basically the if else statement in Java is used for conditional decision making, and it execute different blocks of codes based on whether a given condition is true or false. Okay, so this is nothing but an if else statement, a very common. So here you could see that in this particular image, let me try to zoom in a bit so that it is visible. Okay, so here we could see that if some condition, there will be some condition. Okay, and there will be some set of statements. Okay, so suppose for example, if this condition is success, or if condition is true, then this set of this set of statements will be executed. Okay, if this condition is false, then the other set of code or other set of statements will be executed. So that can be considered as an if else statement. Okay, so that can be considered as an if else statement. Now let us see this if else statement by using one example. Okay, so here let me try to take the same example. Okay, and let me try to switch to Eclipse, guys. I have opened Eclipse. I hope Eclipse is visible to everyone. Okay, so now here let me try to take one particular variable. Okay, so let me try to take one variable as integer variable, and let me try to declare it as a and equals operator. Then let me try to give it as 5. Okay, so I've declared one local variable. This is a local variable. Now if suppose you want to check, okay, the requirement is this. Okay, this is the requirement. The requirement is if the value of a, okay, if the value of a is greater than 5, then if it is greater than 5, then print as, okay, then print as hello. Okay, if the value of 5 is not greater than 5, okay, if the value of 5 is not greater than 5, then print by. Clear? This is our requirement. What is the requirement? If the value of a, what is the value of a right now? It is 5, right? If the value of a is greater than 5, then print as hello. If the value of a is not greater than 5, then print as by. So there is some conditional check that we are doing, and once there is some conditional check is true, we are trying to print something, or we are trying to execute some statement, right? And if the condition is false, we are trying to print some other set of statement. So this kind of decision making, this is just an example, guys. Okay, so this kind of decision making can be done with the help of if else statement. Okay, now how to write this particular requirement, let us see. We have declared one variable as 5. Let me try to give the value of a as 4. Okay, let me give the value of a, let me give the value of a as 4. Okay, let me give it as 6. Okay, I'll give it as 7. I'll give it as 7. Now we have to write that conditional decision making logic. Okay, so what I will do, I will make use of if. See, if is a reserved keyword, guys, and it is a case sensitive. We can't write if like this. No, we can't write. We have to write if like this. Okay, if, what is the condition? What is the first requirement? The first requirement is if the value of a, is greater than 5. So how we can check? We can make use of variable a and the operator. The operator is greater than operator. If a is greater than 5, right? If this is true, then what we have to do? We have to print. We have to print hello, right? If the value of a is not greater than 5, then print by. Then for this particular condition, we are trying to add else. And what we are doing? We are trying to print here as by, right? So this is the statement, right? See, here we are trying to do the conditional check. If this conditional check is true, then this code will be executed. If this conditional check is false, then this code will be executed. That is the else part. Okay. So this kind of conditional validation check and executing particular set of statements whenever there is the conditional check is true, and when the conditional check is false, the other set of statements can be executed. So this can be done with the help of if else. Okay. So now let us try to execute. Okay. Run as Java application. It is giving me, let us ignore that compilation error. Okay, I think it is in some other package. Okay, see here we are giving it as hello, right? What is the value of a? The value of a is 7. So first it will come here, it will try to check if value of a, what is the value of a? The value of a is 7. Is 7 greater than 5? Yes. This will return as true, right? This will return as true, due to which it will try to print this particular statement. This is the output, right? Now suppose you want to execute the else part. So in that case, what should happen? The if case should fail. So for that, a should be not greater than 5. It should be either equal to or lesser than 5. So let me make it as 4. Now let me try to run as Java application. See, it is printing me by, right? Because we have checked this particular condition and the value of a is lesser than 5. So this condition will return as false, due to which I am printing the else part. So this conditional validation can be done with the help of if else. Okay. Now in the case of with respect to the case of if we are having multiple, if we are having multiple checks, like for example, if we need to check multiple checks with respect to a particular case, then we have if else, which we'll see later. But if we are having only two conditions, we can go with this particular if else. Okay. Now if suppose we don't have the else part to be checked, okay, for example, the requirement is simple. Okay, the requirement is like this: if the value of a is greater than 5, then print hello. If it is not greater than 5, then proceed with the other task. Okay, proceed with the other task. Like for example, if it is okay, if it is not a new person, then if it is a new person, then only then we have to print hello. If it is not a new person, he is an old person, we don't have to print hello. We don't have to print hello, we can continue with our task. So that kind of condition, just an example, guys, I'm just trying to give just an example. Okay, it might be any case. Okay, so in that particular case, we can write only if, like this. So if there is a condition, this is known as if else. If suppose there is only single requirement that we don't want to check any other condition, we just have to check one condition, that the condition is if the value of a is greater than 5, then print as hello. Then in that case, we can only write if, right? We can only write if. It's okay if we are not writing else part, but we cannot write if, we cannot write else without if. Remember guys, we cannot write else without if. Okay, like this. For example, if you are trying to write else directly, you cannot write. We cannot write else directly. we have to write if, and only then we can write else. But it is reverse, it is possible. We can directly write if without else. We can write. Okay, let me try to write some condition. A is greater than 5. Okay, so we can write if without else, but we cannot write else without if. Okay, so this is one condition. So if we want to check only a single condition, if there is no else thing that you need to check, then we can write only if. So we should print it as by. Okay, if it is a value is greater than 5. For example, let us consider 9. And now if I am trying to execute this, run as Java application, it will try to print me by, because the value of a is greater than 5. Okay. Okay. So now there are some other cases with respect to if else. Okay. For example, this is the basic if statement that we saw, right? Basic if and basic if else statement that we saw. Now suppose there is some condition that we have to go with if else multiple conditions. Like for example, let us try to consider this as an condition. Okay, let me try to consider this as an example. Let me switch back to Eclipse. Okay, so let me switch back to Eclipse here. So let me try to replace. Okay, now let me try to do Control Shift F. Okay, so this will format me. See, now here I'm just trying to have multiple if statements, right? See, here there is a condition that we have one number, and if this number is greater than 0, then do something or print some set of statements. If it is lesser than 0, then print some set of statements. If it is not both, then print some set of statements. So we are doing various checks that we are trying to perform here. So in this case, we can go with if else if ladder. So this is called as if else if ladder. Okay, we are trying to check some statement. If it is false, we are gonna check some other set of statements. If this is also false, if not both the condition, then print the default one, that is else. Okay, so this kind of validations is known as an if else ladder, or it is also known as if else multiple conditions check. Okay, for example, let me try to execute this code and show you. See, here the condition or the requirement is like this. Okay, if the number is greater than 0, there is one condition. If the number is greater than 0, then we have to print that the number is a positive number. Now, okay, there is one more condition. If the number is lesser than 0, then what we have to do? Then there is some set of statement, so that we can execute. If both the conditions are failure, or if we are having more conditions, okay, or suppose like there is one more condition that if else if the number that we have taken is equal to 1. Okay, just considering one more condition. If it is equal to 1, like this, then print it as number equal to 1. Okay, there is one more condition I'm just trying to add, number equal to 1. Okay, so I'm just trying to add one more condition. So if there is this kind of requirement that there are multiple checks that we need to perform, then in that case we can go with this if else if ladder. Okay, where we'll be trying to check each condition if there are multiple conditions, and whatever the condition that satisfied, that particular set of statement will be executed. Okay, now for example, in this particular case, if num is equals to 0, right? So which condition satisfies? Is this condition satisfies? No, because the number is 0 and it is equal to 0. So this will return me false. Is this condition satisfies? No, because number is not 0 is not lesser than 0, it is equal to 0. Is this condition satisfies? No. Then if all the conditions does not satisfy that we have given, then the default, that is else, will be executed. Right? See, now I'll run as Java application. It will give me number is 0 as the output, because the number is not greater than 0, the number is not lesser than 0, the number is not equal to 1, but it is equal to 0. So this will be printed. So when to go with if else if ladder? When the requirement is we need to validate various conditions, and if those various conditions satisfies any one of the conditions satisfies within that various conditions, then there is some set of statements that need to be executed. then in that case we can go with if else if ladder. Okay, so the execution goes like this. So first this condition will be checked. If this condition is true, then this will be executed, all other will be skipped. Okay, if suppose this execution fails, for example this condition fails, then the next else if will be executed, it will be validated. If this is true, then this set of statements will be executed and all other statements will be skipped. Okay, if the number is equal to 1, okay, then first it will try to check this statement. Is the number greater than 0? No, it is false. Then it will not execute this set of statement. It will check the next else if. So then it will try to check, is the number lesser than 1? No, it is equal to 1. The number is lesser than 0. The 1 is lesser than 0. No, this returns false. So it will go to the next set of statement. Then it will try to check this. This it will return as true. Okay, if it is returning as true, then this particular set of statements will be executed and remaining set of statements will be skipped. See, now I will try to execute run as Java application. So now you can see it is a positive number because here only the condition is satisfied, right? Because the one that I have taken is equal to 0. It is greater than 0. So due to which this particular condition is satisfied and this condition prints. All other set of condition is failed. So it will not execute this set of statements. If I want this condition to be satisfied, then I should add one more condition here with the help of operators. Here I will add the and condition, okay, and I will try to give one more as if it is not equal to 1. Okay, so when this particular condition will not be executed, it will not be executed if the number is greater than 0. So first condition should satisfy. Then one more condition is it should not be equal to 1. Then this condition, this statement will not be executed. So now I will save, I'll run a Java application. Run as Java application. See, it will print me number equal to 1, which is coming from this set of else if statement. So why this condition did not execute, or why this condition, or why this set of statement did not execute? Because we have taken one more operator here which will try to check if both the conditions are true, only then this will return as true. We have seen this in the operator video, right? Operators section, right? Various operators that we have. So I'm trying to check two conditions here, right? So if both the condition is true, only then it will try to print this set of statement. Now here what is happening? One condition is false. So it will not execute the statement within this if. It will execute the statements within this else if. If suppose I am giving it as 9. So 9 is greater than 0? Yes, it is greater than 0. Is it not equal to 1? Yes, it is not equal to 1, right? Now if I am printing run as Java application, then it will print me positive number. Okay, so this is called as if else if ladder. When we should go with if else if there are multiple checks that need to be performed with respect to some condition or with respect to the requirement, then we can go with if else if ladder. Okay, so now this we saw with respect to the if else if condition, right? We saw with respect to the if else if multiple conditions we saw. Okay, so now there is one more called as nested if else statement or the multiple levels. This is quite simple, guys. I'll just try to explain with some simple code. Okay, so here what we will be doing is like inside an if statement we will be writing one more if statement. We can not only write one if, we can write multiple if inside if. Nested if statement, this is called as nested if. Okay, see, I'll show you with respect to the Eclipse. So here if you can see, here we have written this. Let me try to remove this. Okay, I'll just try to write simple nested if the number is greater than 0, then we should check if the number is greater than 5, then we should check if the number is, okay, we should write within this, okay, like this. If the number is equal to 9. See, we have done multiple checks here. What are multiple checks? We have written one if, inside that we have written one if, and inside this if we have written one more if. You can write n number of conditions like this. It again depends on the requirement that we have to decide, but we can have, this is called as nested if. Okay, if this condition satisfies, then we have to check the other set of conditions. If this condition is satisfied, then we need to check this condition. If this condition is satisfied, then we can only say that this is a positive number. Okay, this is a positive number and the number is equal to 9. Okay, this is just an example, guys. I'm just trying to print the number is 9. Like, I'm just trying to give an example, like how we can use nested if. You cannot write only if, you can write else also, like this. Else the number is positive but not 9. The number is positive but not 9. Okay, but not 9. Like this. Just an example. Okay, the number is positive but not 9. Like this. So I'll run a Java application, the number is 9, so I should get the number is 9. If suppose I'm giving it as 8, okay, it should give me the number is positive but it is not 9. See, it is giving me this particular output, right? So if there is condition that we need to check multiple condition within if, then we can go with this nested if statements. This is called as nested if. If inside if inside if, like this. Okay, so this is called as nested if statement. The next that we have is the last one with respect to the if, that is ternary operator. Okay, the ternary operator is nothing but question mark and a semicolon. Okay, it is a kind of shorter form of if. Okay, shorter form of if, like this. Okay, I'll just try to print. This is called as a shorter form of if. Okay, so here we have some statement. Okay, so this will perform like this. If the number, okay, let me print it as greater than instead of taking this. Okay, so if the number is greater than equal to 0, let me try to save. Undefined. Okay, just a second, guys, just a second. Okay. If the number is greater than 2, we are writing 2 condition, no? Like this. See, how this will be executed is, if this condition is satisfied, okay, then this should be printed. Let me give it as like this. Okay, let me give it as 0 and let me try to print here as positive. Okay, else negative. Okay, see, this is called as a ternary operator. Okay, for example, how this works is, if this particular number that we have taken, if it is greater than 0, this is a condition. If this condition is satisfied, okay, if it is true, then print this or consider this. If this condition is false, then print or consider this. Okay, kind of an if-else statement. If this condition is true, consider the statement or the thing that we have after question mark. Okay, if this condition is false, consider the thing or the negative that we have after colon. Kind of true, false. If this condition is true, consider this. If this condition is false, consider this. Now the number that we have taken is 7. Is 7 greater than 0? Yes. Then what we are doing? We are trying to store the positive number inside a string and then we are trying to print. Okay, let us try to execute, run as Java application. See, number is positive. Why? Because this condition is returning as true. So if this is true, then execute this. Okay, suppose if I am writing here it as, if number is greater than 0, print it as hello. If number is lesser than 0, print it as bye. The previous statement that we saw. So now run as Java application. See, okay, let me try to remove this. Okay, I'm just trying to print the result. Hello. If the number is greater than 0. If the number is lesser than 0, for example, -1 if I'm taking, then it will print me by, like this. Simple. So we have to write question mark and we have to write colon. Kind of if statement, if else statement. Okay, so this is ternary operator. The next, do we have any other thing with respect to this? Okay, so this is with respect to the if else conditions. So what is if else? If else is nothing but it is an conditional decision making statement, or it is used for conditional decision making. It executes different blocks of code based on whether a given condition is true or false, right? So if a condition is true, it will print the set of statement that we want. If a condition is false, then it will print the remaining set of statement that we are executed. For example, if this is true, it will print this set of statement. If the condition is false, then it will print else part. We can write if without else, but we cannot write else without if. Okay, and we can have if else if ladder, or we can write an if inside one more if. Okay, so this is with respect to if else.